Welcome to We Should Know This. If you're struggling with decision making, you're in the right place. Whether it's choosing between two job offers, deciding on a new business venture, or even something as simple as picking a new hobby, making the right choice can feel overwhelming, especially when both logic and emotion come into play. Stick around because by the end of this video, you will become much better and much more well-equipped with making rational decisions. Today we'll understand a very powerful method for decision-making that not only considers the tangible factors but also those important intangible ones that are often overlooked. To be able to relate to the method we are talking about, it is important to understand how human brain and heart play a critical role in day-to-day decision-making. Decision-making is a complex process that often feels like a tug-of-war between what we think is right versus what we feel is right. Understanding this interplay can provide insights into why making decisions can be so challenging and how we might simplify the process. Are you ready? Let's dive in. There could primarily be three factors influencing our overall decision-making. These are conflict between logic and emotion, cognitive overload, and fear of regret. Let's first understand about the conflict between logic and emotion. The brain, particularly the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for rational thinking, logic, and analysis. This part of the brain weighs the pros and cons, evaluates risks, and considers long-term consequences. It's like the internal calculator that processes information to help us make decisions based on facts and logic. For example, when deciding whether to take a job offer, the brain might consider salary, benefits, job security, and career growth. Needless to say, the human brain plays a very critical role in the overall decision-making process. But please also know that your heart plays an equally important role. The heart in decision-making is more symbolic, often representing our emotions, values, and gut feelings. The limbic system of the brain, which includes structures like the amygdala, plays a significant role in our emotional responses. It's where our desires, fears, and emotional memories come into play, influencing our decisions. Emotional states triggered by the amygdala affect heart rate and other physiological responses. Increased heart rate during stress or anxiety can, in turn, send feedback to the brain, reinforcing emotional feelings. This feedback loop can make it harder to calm down and think clearly, further influencing decision-making by fostering a heightened sense of urgency or fear. For example, someone with a strong emotional memory of embarrassment of speaking in public may let the amygdala's fear response dominate, avoiding speaking opportunities even though it could benefit their career. Also, for example, the same job offer which we were talking about might trigger feelings of excitement or dread, depending on how the work aligns with personal passions or fears of change. You see, on one hand you might be seeing a good job in front of your eyes with good salary and benefits. At this moment, your brain would think it's indeed a great offer that you should take. But what about your emotions, that is, your heart? Your heart may make your brain think that you should not take it because the actual work that you would be doing at this job does not align with your own passion. This results into a dilemma. Choosing between a high-paying job that feels uninspiring and a lower-paying job that aligns with your passions can create significant internal conflict. Of course, job offer is just an example. There could be so many such situations in life in which you feel you are stuck into a dilemma. Now let us understand the second factor which causes the dilemma while making decisions: cognitive overload. The sheer amount of information and variables that the brain must process can be overwhelming, leading to decision fatigue. When faced with too many choices or complex decisions, our ability to make good decisions begins to fall down. For example, when shopping for a new car, the wide array of models, features, and financing options can make the decision seem impossible. There are of course ways to overcome this, which we will learn about in this video. The third factor, however, which causes decision-making dilemma is having a fear of regret. This fear can cause us to freeze, a situation in which we avoid making a decision altogether to prevent potential negative outcomes. For example, having to decide whether to relocate to a new city can be daunting if you fear regretting leaving behind your current life. So you see, decision-making isn't so easy, but at the same time, it also isn't something we can, or should try to escape. We should rather master the skill of making fruitful decisions. Now that we have understood the why behind this dilemma, let us deep dive into how we can overcome this. The first step to easier decision making is to find a balance between logic and emotion. Start by listing out the logical factors, the pros and cons, and then consider how each option aligns with your values and emotions. Look for a choice that satisfies both your brain and your heart. For example, going back to our earlier example of choosing between two jobs, we should make a list of pros and cons. But how? How should we make this list so we actually end up making a fruitful decision for long-term happiness? A great way to do this is to use the method of priority points. Here's how we can use this method. Start by listing all the pros and cons related to the decision. Be thorough and consider both logical and emotional factors. Next, assign a priority score to each factor based on its importance to you. Use a scale, for example, 1 point denotes low importance, 2 points denote moderate importance, 3 points denote high importance. Let's say money matters the most to you over everything, so you may assign 3 points to salary. Similarly, you could assign 1 point to the factor type of work if you feel the work does not really align with what you wish to do in the long run. This technique allows us to quantify how much each factor truly matters in the context of the decision. Now let us see this with an example. Here we can see that for the first job, pros have a total of 8 points and cons have a total of 3 points. Pros have clearly outweighed the cons. For the second job offer, it is pretty close. Pros have 5 points and cons have 6 points. This means that in the second job offer, the cons have slightly outweighed the pros. Hence, job offer 1 might be the better choice as it has a significantly higher pros score relative to its cons, indicating it aligns better with your priorities and values. We understand this could sound a little confusing at first, hence if required, feel free to replay the entire example again. It is a great method to quantify your priorities and come to a conclusion. Of course, job offer is just an example. We can apply this method in any decision-making process. Also, know that we can add an extra layer to this method when we start to analyze possible risks. For example, what could be the risks if you decide to leave the current job you have? That could impact the overall decision-making as well. However, we are not including that in the table for now to keep it fairly easy to understand. We would, however, recommend to also factor in the risks with the same method, for decisions which could involve risks. Risks should of course be added to the column named cons. Depending on how big you think the risk is, you could assign 3, 2 or 1 points to the same. But to make this list effectively, it is also important that you have clarity in your mind regarding what matters how much to you. What if you yourself do not know what matters how much to you? What if you are confused? How to get that clarity? There can be quite a few methods to get this clarity. However, in this video we will focus on the 2 easiest ones. First one is visualization, and second is the Ikigai method. So, what is the visualization technique? Athletes and successful people often use visualization to gain clarity about what matters to them. This method involves mentally placing yourself in future scenarios and observing how you feel. Do this. Visualize your ideal life. Close your eyes and imagine your future self, living the life you desire. Pay attention to where you are, what you're doing, who you're with, and how you feel. Now reflect on emotions. What makes you feel fulfilled and happy in this vision? Is it being with your family, playing with your kids, or living a luxurious life, or a combination of these? What exactly is making you relatively more happy? The emotions that surface can reveal your core priorities. Focus on the process, not just the outcome. Visualization is not just about achieving a goal, but also about what daily actions and values resonate with you. For example, tennis champion Serena Williams used visualization techniques, focusing not just on winning but on embodying persistence, strength, and consistency in her process. These core values guided her career decisions. Next up is the Ikigai method. This Japanese concept, meaning, reason for being, is a structured way of identifying your purpose by intersecting 4 areas of life. Here's how to implement it. List 4 categories: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. Find common themes. Where these categories overlap is where your purpose lies. Many people have used Ikigai method to guide career decisions. By identifying what they're passionate about and how they can contribute to the world, they can gain clarity on what direction to take in life. Is it financial stability, personal fulfillment, or family time? By identifying your core values, you can prioritize decisions that align with these values, making the process simpler. For example, if family time is your top priority, a job with flexible hours might be the clear choice, even if it pays slightly less. Lastly, we would also say, learn to embrace the imperfection. Understand that no decision is perfect, and uncertainty is a part of life. Accepting this can reduce the pressure to find the perfect choice and allow you to make decisions more confidently. Again, for example, realizing that both job offers have their pros and cons can help you move forward with whichever feels more right, knowing that no option is entirely without risk. Try implementing the techniques discussed in this video and surely you shall gain more confidence while making important decisions. In conclusion, we can say that the brain and heart both play crucial roles in decision-making, often leading to internal conflict that can make decisions challenging. By understanding this dynamic and employing strategies like aligning logic with emotion, prioritizing values, and embracing imperfection, we can navigate decisions more effectively. Remember, the goal is not always to find the perfect choice, but to make a choice that aligns with both your rational mind and your emotional core. We hope this video helps you. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how we can become better decision makers, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful content. Also, please feel free to share your own ideas that you think can be helpful while making decisions. See you in the next video.